Hey guys, it's Chris from Magickal Menagerie. I'm sorry it's taken me so long to get this stream going. We decided to, at the last minute, that we were going to use YouTube Live and see how that was going to work for us, because it seemed that we could integrate a YouTube live stream across all of our social media at one time, which we were able to get a couple social media streams going. We were able to get Facebook on in our Facebook group, and we were able to get it going with Twitter, but we're working on integrating Tumblr because we did have some problems with that to start out. So we were trying to get all that going, but at 5 in the morning, I figured I might as well just go ahead and post the positivity path working so I can get on to the rest of my day without any sleep, which is super okay because I'm excited to share this lovely message, and it was kind of cool to the last second realize that YouTube Live could do all of that. So we were searching for the best way, and I just came just at the last minute. So I just wanted to let you guys know that is why it was a delay, because we decided, wait a minute, like we can do this on YouTube. So that'll help us build our YouTube channel and hopefully get you guys, an easier way to stream live and ask us questions. So, and just a little bit of background if you're watching from one of our other social medias about exactly what this pathworking is, why we're doing it, and why it's important. So this pathworking is requested for our first pathworking and like free series of pathworkings from our main audience, which is our customers for magicalmenagerie.com or magicalmenageriestore.com. So people who have been following our blogs, following our teaching for the past 4 years since we've been doing this work and trying to connect people with spirit guides, open up their spiritual awareness and things like that. Carmen and I have done a lot of work over the past 4 years in our own journey, and our goal has always been to share that as openly and freely as possible. And we've tried like so many ways. Like we used to do, when we first started, we wanted to have a YouTube channel, and it just wasn't working out, and we felt like we didn't have the right voicing and the right things to say. And also, I tend to be very long-winded. So it was really hard for me to do short things because I felt like, oh man, that's too short. So we've both been working on finding our voice with our path and what we want to do. And so up until recently, it's been a struggle and this like chaotic burden of how do we do this. So I just started reaching out to everyone and just saying what my intention was, like what I wanted to do and what my end game was for forever. And through everyone's suggestions and help over the past 4 years, we've been able to build a business that sustains us so that we can continue working on this big project of connecting people with spirit guides, their higher self, their higher power, and all of that, and kind of creating an environment for spiritual counseling and for discussing spiritual things. So I decided personally to set up a Patreon account so that anyone who maybe doesn't want to purchase from our store or support us in that kind of way, or get a psychic reading or connect with a spirit guide or anything like that, or get a spell done or buy a piece of jewelry or an enchanted item. If you don't want to do that, you can support us through Patreon, and with a small donation and just a lot of crowdfunding, we'll be able to do these free path workings. So on Patreon, if you go visit the Patreon account, it's called Curtis C's. It's helping support all the free path working that I want to do to support Magickal Menagerie and my goals with that and Carmen, and also to help support me with my personal writings to the same effect, which go on our blog, which is Our Witching Hour on WordPress, and then that also goes into books I'm trying to write, books that are I don't know, poetry, anthology, all kinds of stuff that's just like a synthesis of all the things that I've learned and want to share with everyone, and don't necessarily have the time to, because I've just spent so much time promoting myself and my business and psychic readings and stuff. Now I don't really want to push that hustle so much anymore. I would rather be able to share openly and freely and have that kind of exchange of energy sustain me more than try to feel like I'm almost begging to share knowledge with people. So hopefully what I've set up is that I've set a goal for myself, and so if I'm able to reach that goal through being diligent about coming on live for at least 5 days out of the week, doing this free path working and different path workings, which will help me build guides to sell later that are just completely written guides. These guides are all, and this path working is all tentative, so it's all a rough draft, and it's all something we're experiencing together so that I can further the commentary and make it into a fully finished product that considers everyone in every path, and take your suggestions. So you get to help me create something that other people can use later, and of course can come back and see these videos and work this path working. And so there's a whole fully realized product, and that's really amazing to me, and I hope you guys would support that. And I'm not sure exactly how Patreon works yet, but I'm looking on it, or working on it. I've set it up, and I'm trying to discern if you can be a patron without paying, because I am going to make all the content and the workbooks for the path working as they come out, the rough drafts, available to anyone who is a patron and is following. But I'm not sure if you have to pledge to get that information. But I'm making everything public that I post, except for the path workings for patrons only. So if you're not a patron and you don't want to mess with Patreon, you can always join the Magickal Menagerie Secret Circle on Facebook. That's a private group. So it's a private group where you can talk about spirituality with other spiritual seekers that are kind of into what we do, and you'll get this path working for free as well. So that's the only place you can do it, and that's where these live streams are at as well. So with all that being said, I want to take a second to thank everyone who's helped us to get to this point thus far. And from me and my heart, this is my way of paying you guys back for all of that and putting in a lot of hard work. I know it might be frustrating to some people who are working with us on other things at the moment with their orders and their readings, and those being a little bit delayed for this effort. But I appreciate your patience, because this is something I've been trying to resolve and figure out for a long, long time. And without all of your support, it might be something I never discovered. So thank you for helping me to, open up my heart and be expressive and find my platform and find my voice for you guys. And I hope that you enjoy the results. So with that being said, moving on to day one of Finding Positivity Pathworking. Yes, let's go. I'm so excited. Oh my god. If you follow us, you can follow our Periscope, and you can follow our Facebook group, Magickal Menagerie Secret Circle on Facebook, and you can get the introductory video, which I also posted on the Patreon. It's an introductory video for the opening ceremony for this path working. So if you haven't done that, you can message me or message one of our pages and get the opening ceremony, or watch and get the link on all of our social media for the live stream of the opening ceremony, so you can enjoy that as well. But if you've already done that, we're moving on to day one. So the opening ceremony is really a call to action. So that is, giving yourself time for all of those energies to accumulate and amass around you, so you can start your journey. And so now we're taking our first steps on our first day in our path working. Path working is really important because it is an approach to spiritual work where you set the intention that you're working on a certain path. So this is manifested in many traditions of magic or spiritual practice, where you're walking the path, and this is this concept that you are on a journey and you are learning your lessons, certain lessons, and you will be forced to repeat these certain lessons. So a path working is how you get a lesson and you keep it. So that's the intention that a path working comes with, is that you're going to get this lesson, you're going to have it forever. So why Finding Positivity? To start out, I titled it Finding Positivity because this is something, a piece of you that you need on your spiritual journey. Is how to be positive, and so how to find positivity so that you never lose it, and if you ever do drop it, you know where to find it again. So that's kind of the deal here, is setting the intention that you're going to find positivity and you're not going to lose it, and that's what I'm promising you with this path working. So that's a pretty hefty promise, and whenever I wrote a Twitter poll about it and posted a couple other places, and I didn't really think about the impact of the words that I chose. And so whenever that was selected as the most popular one, I was like, okay, I'll have to think about this now. How are we gonna finding positivity? Okay, guys, what do you mean, spirits? What's up? And when that happened, a lot of things happened in my life specifically that were really tremendous, and I was like, whoa, okay, I really get it now. All right, let's do this. Let's find some positivity. So finding positivity is important because I want you to walk away from this path working, which is 5 days, and they can be done like 1 day a week, or I would say spread it out and give yourself some time. I'm gonna do them probably once a week or something like that, so that you have some time in between because there's a lot of reflection questions. But yeah, I want you to be able to find positivity, and if you ever lose it again, or you misplace it, or you're not sure where you just got turned around, you'll be able to navigate yourself back into a positive mindset. So with that intention, we move forward. I'm just going to go over the outline. This is a 4-page outline of what will be probably a novel, because I can't just do things simply. So the introduction. So I wanted to look at the goal of what we're trying to do to get a clear idea of how we're going to accomplish it, which is what I've pretty much just discussed. As we move through the process, we're seeking to understand the meaning and impact of positivity in our life. So a pathworking is exploring the meaning and impact of a subject matter as it pertains to you, your relationship with God, your relationship with your spirit guides, your relationship with other people, your relationship to relationships, and so you're exploring the impact of a subject matter. In this case, the subject matter of finding positivity. So we can start exploring this a little bit more deeply by looking into the definition of the word positivity. So the paraphrased versions of positivity and negativity, we're just going to look at that because, it's simple, it's cliche, but we got to know our subject matter. So we got to make sure that we give it a little bit more of a look-see and not just assume we already know, because, when you're working a path working, you want to really understand. You don't want to just go with anything you already know and assume. You want to look a little deeper. So I learned some things by looking a little deeper, which is kind of interesting. So positivity, the state and character of being positive. This is clear and definite were words to describe a positive state of mind. Clear and definite and free of doubt. So definite, or in definition, having a definition or a definite purpose was an important thing that popped out to me there. And then also characterized by the presence of distinguishing features rather than their absence. So in a positive state, you're characterized by the things that you have, not the things that you do not have. So if you have found positivity, you are in definition and operating in the definition of yourself that says, I have these distinguishing features. Pretty interesting. So a knowledge of self and just kind of this understanding of like, hey, this is me, this is what I'm doing. Then negativity is being the opposite. So usually if we are seeking, to find a positive state, we feel or perceive ourselves to be in sort of a negative state. And we're like, oh man, it's like negative. Duh, I hate this crappy feelings that come up. And if you did the opening ceremony, we pledged to try to find the balance and neutrality and the perspective, the higher truth, which is going to always be the place of balance between these two forces. So if we want to find positivity, we want to understand negativity's impact on finding positivity. So with that being said, negativity, the state and character of being negative, of course, characterized by the absence of distinguishing features rather than their presence. So if you're negative, you're focusing on what you lack or having a lack of something. And that is from the definition. So when spiritual teachers tell you, oh, you're negative because you feel a loss or you feel a lack, well, they're actually really right, because the definition of the word is literally defining things as, oh, it's negative, meaning it is the absence of something. So it is positivity negative is what you're feeling. So if you're feeling lack, you are positivity negative. And if you are feeling abundance, you are negativity positive. What? Maybe not. Maybe not. You're negativity negative. Ah, yeah, that's right. Okay, sorry. I try to be cool. Anyway, yeah. So we tend to think that negativity is not desirable, and it's not, because it is as far as our practice and what we're doing, we don't want to feel a lack, but we can acknowledge a lack. So not feeling a lack, not internalizing a lack, and defining ourselves with a lack or a negativity kind of mindset. Negativity is the act of defining something. So it can be negative and not be defining to you. So that's an important distinction to make there. Something that is negative can just be negative away from you on its own, and you can choose to view it with positivity. So that is an important thing to note there. So saying that negativity is desirable is a very general thing and can be like a very varied context, because what's desirable to you might not be desirable to me. So I might like smoking cigarettes and I might think that that's positive for me, but you know, my doctor might tell me that that's very negative. So there's a perceptual issue there, and you have to understand that where the other person's coming from as to whether you view it as positive or negative. And intention is important there. So are they intending your best interest? That's an important thing to think about. So things I wanted to say here is it bad to be, oh, sorry. And does positivity have the same quality? So are people being positive about things that might actually truthfully be harmful? You know? So if someone is operating in an untruthful positivity or untruthful negativity, that might create some discord and some misunderstandings between people about what they feel as truly positive and truly negative. And in the eyes of the divine, there would be a all positive side and all negative side. So we have to figure out how to reconcile, you know, that kind of idea. How does the divine see that? And that is what the pathworking is about. So when you find what positivity is in the eyes of the divine, you will never lose it. All right. And hopeful and confident about the future was how, well, okay, so negativity in the definition was like not desirable or optimistic. So it used optimistic to define, you know, negativity as something that's not desirable and not optimistic. So if it is not optimistic, it is lacking a hopeful or a confident quality, because optimism is having hope and confidence in the future. So is it bad to be too hopeful was the question that arose for me from that. And I just put two quotes in the guide there for you to think about in regards to that. Is expectations are premeditated resentments, and that is from Alcoholics Anonymous. And unhappiness is best defined as the difference between our talents and our expectations, which I really liked. And I said, know the line between what is possible and obtainable and what is not. So talents being what we are currently able to do. Not necessarily saying what your, you know, the limit of your talent, the like biggest, best thing you're able to do. But the limitations of your talent at this point, you know, if there's a deficit between what you expect and what you're able to do in regards to your passion, what you're passionate about, then you're going to be a little disappointed because what you want to manifest is not what you're able to. And so in that case, that hopefulness is okay, but is it negative to address the fact that, you are falling short? No, it's not. It simply means that if you really truly are passionate, you need to find that positivity and say, hey, I've got room for growth, but I can make it. So that's very important as well in addressing negativity, that hopefulness is important, and being hopeful in the right way is going to help you find positivity, I feel like. So we're going to explore that a little bit more as we move forward. So finding positivity is our journey with these two extremes, positivity and negativity. And I say finding because our main motivation seems to be to operate with ease and enjoyment, of course. Where do we see that motivation in modern society? So where is there proof? Like Kurt is like, okay, dude, like you're saying that humans are motivated in everything by trying to find ease and enjoyment? Like, of course, yeah. Of course, yeah. You can see this by the progression of humanity, the invention of new things, new tools, new resources. Medical research is a big, big sign for that. Development of a government or a governing body to help facilitate the ideas of the people and the direction the people want to go, and the majority of people and how they want to live their life, and to protect the majority of people. And art and expression is another way that we show we are trying to operate with ease and enjoyment. If we're able to be creative and expressive, we're able to communicate with one another in a deeper way, and that helps us to encourage one another and to show one another, hey, like, it can be easier with this little piece. I've got this little piece. I'm going to display it to you in a way that you can find it and make it beautiful in your own way. So that's what art is to me. So there is a journey with this finding positivity and with this finding ease and enjoyment, because inherently in the world there is pushback, and there has to be this pushback for ease and enjoyment, to be explored and to be for this expansion to happen, for this advancement to happen. If there was no pushback, if there was no one in the world who felt uneasy, or didn't feel a sense of unrest, if that wasn't present, then there would be no growth. There would be no need for it. We would technically be in heaven, so to speak, because there would be no affliction. There would be no need, to change. There would be no one worried about changing. So, in that regard, that's how we know that there is an importance, because of this pushback. So, negative things in the world are perceptions. So whoever is motivated to change something is changing it because they feel a sense of unease in themselves. Whether or not it is true, and whether or not people are on their side or see what they're saying, or can understand their argument, is irrelevant. They're going to push back because they feel a sense of unease. So when they feel this negativity, when they feel this lack of, when they feel this impending lack, they're gonna start pushing back, and they're gonna start saying, no man, like this sucks. I want to change it. I don't like it. And then you have people start throwing flags up, like, hey, this over here, y'all, this isn't cool. And then you start getting something going and something changing. So addressing negativity with a hopefulness to change by simply acting on what makes you feel uneasy. So that is an aspect of positivity. Action is very important. So growth and development occur as the negative limits interfere with our positive hopes. So as things get in the way of our hopes, we're like, nah, yeah, pretty much. Negativity serves the purpose of showing us limits. So going back to that quote, we're being shown limits by negativity. So now you have something to touch negativity. Like, when something happens negative, you can just be like, okay, negativity, I see you. You're showing me my limits. That's what's happening here. So now you know what to say to negativity when he, she, they come knocking at your door. Limits are a transitive concept. So I wanted to reiterate the fact that limits are transitive. You can change what is limiting you. And that is something to remember. Dear negativity, you are showing me my limits, and I will not allow those limits to persist in my life. There you go. So tell yourself that when negativity comes knocking at your door. So, limits are transitive concept. It's a fallacy to be angry with limits, as they may not always be there. Think of ways in which others have overcome their limitations. It is possible to do. It is a matter of how you reach your limits being tested. It's a matter of how you react to your limits being tested. I should not read this because I'm going to confuse myself. It's a matter of how you react to your limits being tested. So your mental state is about how you're reacting to your pushbacks and how you're addressing Miss Mother, he, she, they negativity, however it appears to you. So, do you wish to be less limited, or to search for another direction? So when negativity approaches, it is really testing your hopefulness, okay, and your drive and passion towards achieving what you want. If you don't want it enough, you're not going to push back hard enough to push the bar higher for your limits, until you can again reach it and be like, okay, limits, you're still trying to get me, man. Come on, negativity, you're trying to tell me that these limits are here, and I'm going to have to do more. Thanks for letting me know that. even if that limit is not feeling like you want to get out of bed in the morning, like I feel like a lot of the times, then you have to. If you don't push back, then okay, negative things will happen. You will see the lack manifest in your life, because if I don't get out of work, or I don't get out of bed, I don't go to work, I don't get paid, I lose my house, I lose this, that, and the other, a whole process of shenanigans that you don't even need to go through if you say, you know what, negativity, I see you trying to promote me with this fear that I'm about to lose these things. I'm limited by my tiredness right now. What am I going to do about that? Curtis is going to drink some coffee and keep it moving, and we don't worry about it. We know we're going to be woke in a few minutes. So there you go. There's a solution. So in a simple way, you can get through your observation of limits through the lens of negativity and see them through with the lens of positivity, saying, I see you, I'll do one better. But you have the choice. And anytime you're presented with a limit, anytime you can perceive it as negative or positive, you're saying, okay, do I want to be less limited here, or do I want to search for another direction? So those are your choices. If you choose anything else, you're choosing inaction. You're choosing to not progress. You're choosing to not grow. You're choosing to observe frustration. So that is what you're going to manifest if you don't choose one of those two questions. So that's why I think you should always ask one of those two questions. I have two choices here, only, and only allow yourself those two choices and see how it works for you. It's path working, so we're going to try it. So if you come up with those in the next few weeks, just say, hey, do I want to be less limited here? You know, I'm tired, I want to go to work. Do I want to be less limited and find a solution? Go to bed earlier? Not do those things that are going to keep me up? Figure it out, do some research, figure out what might be keeping me up. See the doctor about insomnia, whatever the solution might be. Or search for another direction. Maybe get a different job that is a night job so that you can sleep during the day. If your circadian rhythm is off and you just want to work at night. So a different path, or finding an answer for your current path. So those are your two choices when you hit a limit or a negative, perceivably negative interruption or obstacle on your path. When you feel that dread that if you don't get this problem fixed, get over this obstacle, that you're going to have a lack of something. That is where negativity tries to come get you. All right, so recognizing hopefulness versus expectation and wishing versus expectation. So, like I said, the driving force for positivity is a hope that you can accomplish something. And I wanted to make sure that we understood the difference between hopefulness and expectation, and the difference between wishing and expectations. So hope has movement and inspiration behind it, in my eyes. You can be hopeful when you are moving forward, okay? If you are not taking action or moving forward or contemplating action or, in some way, shape, or form, thinking and actively engaging in the process that you're going to need to undergo to remove those limits and push them higher, then you're wishing. You're not doing. So you can't hope. You can't say, I have hope, I have faith, if you aren't doing. Because there is no spiritual practice, there is nothing ordained for you, there is nothing you will be blessed with if you do not practice with faith, practice, and study. You have to put it into action, you have to trust that it's going to work, and you have to study the process in as many places, spaces, books, videos as possible, with as much inspiration, as meta of an analysis as you can find. So, if you're not doing that, you're wishing. You need all those three parts. You can talk about your faith all day long, but if you don't start walking and you sit on your couch, you're never going to make it to God's kingdom, however you want to call it. So, wishing believes that wish alone will do the job. Like, this stuff's just going to fall into my lap. Why would you be blessed with anything if you're not going to do anything, if you're not going to pay anything forward? You don't just get something without receiving something. So it's very important to understand the karmic exchange of energy that comes with any blessing you receive. So if you want to be blessed, you want to be given a whole bunch of reasons to be positive, you want your limits to be removed, then you're going to have to move forward. So wishing believes that wish alone will do the job. Synonymous with what I call dreaming or daydreaming. It's insufficient or no effort or movement towards creating this reality. So That is how I define wishing in this path working. What would be effort? Effort would be considered strategizing, pulling from life experience to solve a problem, researching, getting inspired, looking for inspiration, or working through steps to get closer to manifestation. So just doing the path you already know you have to do, finding inspiration for it, or just like trying to figure out where the heck to start, or just talking about it like, hey man, I think I'm going to have this limit. What should I do if that happens? So just thinking about it and asking for inspiration. A simple prayer. What takes away from your positivity? Positivity is just the presence of hopefulness. All right. So you're allowed to be positive because you have hope, and you have hope because you are working on removing your limits. All right. You got to know when to hold them, because hopeless is not the same as a mindless wishing. You got to know when to hold them, got to know when to fold them, know when to walk away, know when to run, kind of deal. From that Kenny Rogers song. And I put that in there for like a suggestion, so you guys can listen to that song and kind of have it with a new ear. Positivity is looking at what you hope for and making it reality with every action. So always remembering what your hopes and dreams are and the motivations behind what you do, so that every single thing that happens in your life until you get there, every single thing you can give importance to. That is finding positivity. When you can give it importance and give it a moment and say thank you to anything that happens in your life while you're on your path to removing whatever limit or obstacle it is, then you have really found positivity. And you've really found some understanding. Because it's extremely difficult to do. To be like, hey, car breaking down, you are going to serve a purpose and I'm going to figure it out at some point what it was. And maybe that point was there was a cute flower shop up the road from you that you were going to work at and end up owning one day because you secretly wanted to be a florist and you didn't know about all those flower pictures on Pinterest you always put up or telling you the whole time. So yeah, the synthesis of literally everything you ignore in your daily life becomes what's limiting you from your continued ease that we're looking for. That continued ease that comes with true positivity. So, learning to see everything and every action as important in teaching you is a big part of why hopefulness works. But there must be an end game. You've got to have something in mind, or you can't figure out what the signs really mean to you. And that's important with spiritual messages as well, and all kinds of other stuff. So no matter what it is, we should feel that everything is important on our journey. This way we get the lesson, medicine, and support we've asked for by turning our life into a spokesperson for our hopes. Empowering your hopes is super important. When we feel far away from our dreams, we feel less hopeful. When we feel closer, we get excited and more positive, we start moving faster, and we have more energy and more action. So if you start seeing more things and start viewing things as less of a limitation, and more actively saying, oh my God, that's teaching me this, oh my God, that's teaching me this, then all of a sudden you feel like you're about to pick up some momentum because you feel like you're getting it, right? The fallacy is that we can't carry the same attitude through the whole journey. How do we? So knowing what our center of operation should be, hopefulness for our dreams, is important to help you carry that same positive or optimistic attitude. We can have emotions and experiences in a healthy way and express and deal with difficult times without compromising or removing ourselves too far from the path we are hopeful for. Bringing meaning to obstacles helps you to find or feel on track and like you are actively accomplishing what you seek. And this helps you to adjust and flow a lot better because you just keep moving and you know you're going to keep moving. So when something comes up, you're like, oh, we're just going to run around that because, hey, what I'm looking for might be right on the other side. And what if that was the last little bend you had to go around? Just keep swimming. All right. So all that being said, here is the ritual and practice for this first section. It's very simple. For all that explanation and introduction, it's very simple, and it's just 3 simple mantras. These mantras are, I do because don't doesn't work. I wasn't going to say I do because don't work, but because I'm super country, but I tried to make it, it is trying to be professional. So I decided to go with I do because don't doesn't work. So this means that if you aren't doing, you aren't working. You should balance motion with meaningful rest. You will feel rested in action when you have learned this mantra. So how this mantra will manifest for you is you'll feel restful. When you say this mantra, you'll be like, I do because don't doesn't work. And you're going to do things anyway. So that's what I mean when I say the mantra's going to manifest for you. Like, you won't feel it. Like, when you first start saying it, you're going to be like, I do because don't doesn't work, I guess. And eventually you're going to start saying it because when you keep saying it over and over in a repeated fashion, you're going to start seeing it more, and then you'll start to understand it. So that's how mantras work sort of on a journey. It brings your mind to, this repetition, and you start to be looking for that because you're bringing that energy into your conscious mind. You're bringing that awareness to this mantra. So this mantra, I do because don't doesn't work. So it's telling yourself, if I don't do that thing that seems hard, if I don't do that thing that is difficult, if I don't do it, something won't work for me. It won't work for me. I won't like the result. So you're promising yourself, I have to do this because I am not going to like the result. So I do because don't doesn't work. A manifestation of resistance to this mantra means that you either should be resting, aren't on the right path quite yet, or have energy to keep working and are avoiding work. So when I say a manifestation of resistance, I mean when you say this mantra and you have that moment, or you feel like, I'm going to do this because don't doesn't work, and something in your intuition says, no, you don't need to do this. This isn't one of those times. So if you feel like this isn't one of those times and you feel like you're not being avoidant, like you're ready to do the thing, you just say it and you're like, oh wait, like no, this isn't one of the do things, then that's okay. It might be an indication that you're just tired and it's not the time to address this issue yet, or that you don't have all the pieces to address this specific problem at this specific time on your journey. So it's okay if it's manifesting for those reasons for you to not do something. But if it's just manifesting because you're feeling avoidant, you don't really want to do it, then you definitely need to say this mantra over and over until you do it. Just saying. So, but that's how resistance to a mantra is. It's sort of like that empathic feeling. It's just feeling in the pit of your stomach where you're like, I don't know about that. I don't feel that is the truth. And you have to always make sure that when you feel that, you ask it like, hey, is it because I'm tired that this isn't the truth, or is it because like this is not a right time? So it's okay. So you always want to question your mantras, even as you say them, if they bring up any feelings. If they're not empowering you and pushing you forward and you're feeling resistance, make sure to question the resistance and why it is there. Before you do, and you shouldn't have, I don't want to be responsible for that. So try and prepare you for the totality of what mantras do, if you're not familiar with mantras. All right, the second mantra we're going to say is, it is ordained that I will manifest my hopes and dreams. So your hopes and dreams, I feel like, are something that's given to you along your path, along your way. They're instilled in you, and you learn them slowly over time. You're not just born into the world knowing that you're going to be a doctor. You don't even know what a doctor is, but you desire that over time because for certain reasons. And that desire leads you to certain places, and then that changes. And that desire leads you to certain places, and that changes. And slowly over time, you come to your truest desire by exploring your desires. So you have to explore what you desire, what you dream for, what you're yearning for currently, in order to find what you truly want. So it is ordained that you will manifest your hopes and dreams, of course, because in order for you to get to where God wants you to be, where you are ordained to be, you're going to have to walk through every yearning and every feeling to discover what it is that you truly, really want. So it is absolutely guaranteed that you will reach your hopes and dreams. Absolutely. And that is the reason for that mantra. So when you feel down and you feel like, I can't get that, say, it is ordained for me to manifest my hopes and dreams. And these are the hopes and dreams of your spirit in connection with God, not necessarily your human consciousness and what's perceivable to you. Those are your yearnings, those are your urges that your spirit is trying to push you in a certain direction and connect you with your intuition and your God consciousness and all of those good things that you're looking for. But those yearnings are important. So no matter what you do, as long as you follow where you're led and where you feel passionate about, what you feel passionate about, sort of pursuing at the time, even if you don't feel like it is completely, totally, 100,000% your intended purpose. You should pursue it anyway because it is going to help you discover what your true purpose that you're looking for really is. All right, so the second mantra was, "It is ordained that I will manifest my hopes and dreams." The third mantra we're going to do is, "I am me, for that I came." This is actually a quote from a poem that I like a lot. It's called "As Kingfishers Catch Fire, Dragonflies Draw Flame." And it's a poem from uh, Gerard Manley Hopkins, or yeah, I think you say it, Gerard Manley Hopkins. And I believe he was a monk, and he wrote this poem about, everything has a purpose. It's one thing and the same. I think it's like, I don't know that the whole poem, but everything is singing in the world is saying, "I am me, for that I came," and it's singing its purpose through its action. So what it is doing and what it is seeking to do indicate what it is. So even within your yearnings and how you approach your yearnings or how you approach tackling them, this mantra is helping you to understand, oh, okay, how can I draw the similarities between how I approach things and take from that from a universal perspective and expanding kind of my motivations. Where are my motivations coming from? What do all my yearnings seem to settle around? For me, it's people and counseling and helping. So no matter how I do that, I'll always be satisfied. And that is, where my yearnings tend to stem from. And also where my losses and where my sense of losses come from. When I feel like I haven't helped, when I feel like I haven't done a good job, when I feel like I haven't been able to communicate well and help. That's where I feel a lack. But I know that I am me, for that I came, and I must do what I feel I must do, which is to help. So regardless of how I might perceive it as positive or negative, I must do what I came to do. And I will find that by continuing on my journey. So, in finding positivity in our path working, we want to start with these three mantras. Again, I'll say them very quickly, so you don't have to hear me go on and on and on again. I do because don't doesn't work, or if you're Southern, I do because don't work. The second, it is ordained that I will manifest my hopes and dreams. And third, I am me, for that I came. So these three mantras are the ones we're going to work with. My recommendations for reciting mantras: say them whenever you feel like you need their lesson, you need their magic, you need to be connected with that energy, that universal force. You need to call something down to aid you to overcome your obstacles with this path working and finding positivity. So when you feel like positivity is challenged and negativity has showed up to say you are limited and you want to say I'm not, then you say I do. Well, you know what, limits? I'm going to do it because it's not going to work for me if we don't. And then you're going to say, actually, furthermore, negativity, God says it is ordained for me to push that bar up. Just say no, negativity. Just let's stop. And then you say, because why? Because I'm me, and I got to do it. So, boom. And there you go. So it's a different approach to your resistance when something's calling out your limits, trying to get in your face and say, you can't do that. You can't do that. Mm-hmm. When the devil pops up and says, no, trying to discourage you, those limits pop up. You can punch him with a mantra. Again, I do because don't work. It is ordained that I will manifest my hopes and dreams. I am me, for that I came. And recommendations for these, I would say at least do for a week. Try to say them at least 10 times a day. The effect will be amplified for you if you look at yourself in a mirror. So you're telling yourself. So it becomes this kind of discourse between you and yourself, which is kind of funny to say, but it does become a lot more empowering if you do it in front of a mirror. So if you're skeptical about that, try it and see if there's any difference for you. You might want to write them on the mirror in a dry erase marker. I actually do this a lot. So I'm forced to see it when I'm looking at my reflection, and it kind of forces me to internalize it a little bit more. But I use dry erase markers on my mirror in my bathroom and write on it. So that's something you can try as well. And make sure to try to look at yourself in your eyes if you do try to practice, that kind of exploration, a little deeper, looking in a mirror version of reciting the mantras. And then the next one is, you can totally do prayers before you do these mantras. It will really help, honestly. because sometimes after prayers we can get a little bit sad or mournful, and that's not everyone, but there are some people like that I've met. And um, if you're feeling that way and you are struggling with negativity and feeling your limits really hard, and you're asking for help with overcoming your limits, then you're gonna need to pick yourself back up. So you're gonna need to take that energy and tell that energy you just call forth for help that you are gonna do this, and just recite those mantras. So it's a great time to do after prayers anyway. Honestly, mantras are great for after prayers, I feel like, because it's setting the intention for anything you just asked for to kind of come through this specific lens. So if you're working a path working, you can still ask for the same things, but you want to ask for the normal things you ask for, anything new you want to ask for, however you normally do your prayers, and then kind of try to set an intention with yourself that you're going to work your path working, which is finding positivity. So finding positivity in whatever you have to do to assist God with manifesting what you want. And then you want to learn. Sometimes this isn't easy, so I would say you want to learn and practice and get better at this, to say them clearly, confidently, and with the intention to be and live or believe them if you do not feel their truth immediately. And then use these mantras when you feel you need to encourage yourself through any difficulty. So if you're feeling difficulty, you're feeling your limits, and it's uncomfortable, then I want you to use these mantras and just say whichever one you feel you need the most. And you can always, just refer back to the Pathworking if you get the guide on Patreon or on Magickal Menagerie's Secret Circle on Facebook. So you can get the free guide there and look back at these notes, or watch the video and scroll through. But I don't know if that'll be very fun. But if you do that, awesome. Like, that's great. That's some dedication, and you got to, because if you don't, it won't work. Just saying, gotta get through the path working. So I have some review questions at the end of every one of these, and I'm just gonna read these out loud and just leave them there for you to contemplate, so you can have them if you don't get the path working guide and you're just scrolling through and watching this video. My questions I proposed were: what evidence in your environment shows you that you are looking to find a positive mindset, or people around you are looking to find a positive mindset? And that goes back to what we were talking about in the beginning, the evidence, like innovation, stuff like that. What do you think prevents people from finding a positive mindset? Short-term upset? Long-term upset? What things are you hopeful for, wishing for? What is your biggest hope and dream for your life? Have you begun to think about how you will manifest it or them? How do each of the mantras make you feel? What resistances? Sadness, anger, loss, overwhelmed, excited, grateful, empowered? Did you take the opportunity to use a mantra to help you get over an obstacle in your day? What was it? Where could you have used a mantra and didn't? So where could you have used a mantra today and you didn't? So next time you could be more aware and say, this is mantra time. So if you feel like, man, I should have done that mantra, that would make me feel so much better, then next time you can be like, hey, I got you. It's mantra time, negativity. Trying to call out my limits. Like, I got you this one. I got you this one. You try to sneak up on me. Try to sneak up on me at lunchtime. The next one and the last one. Do you feel stronger? Or sorry, not the last one. Do you feel stronger and more empowered with these mantras? And in what way? Specifically, what way? And how has your opinion about your capability changed as you work with these mantras, or how you perceive your limits? Are you energized, thoughtful, indecisive, but encouraged? So just some questions and some, sort of leading questions for you to think about. I mean, they are leading questions, but, you're still going to come to your own conclusions, and that's awesome. But I hope you'll share them with me, and I hope you'll come back for more pathworking. I do try to be really thorough with these, since I don't know who's going to download the guide and who's not. But the guide will always be available on magicalmenagerie.com or magicalmenageriestore.com. Way down the line, it'll be a complete guide that is very strategic and focused, and probably incorporates some, personal stories from other people, which I'm going to try to get. If anyone wants to, do the pathworking and dedicate a story to that. But we do have rituals and things like that, and path working and guidebooks already on our website, Magickal Menagerie store.biz, I believe. And or you can just go to www.magicalmenagerie.com to get access to all of our social media, all of our blogs, all of our store stuff, everything that we do, our help desk, our live chat and Discord. And you can also go on Patreon if you want to, Patreon.com/Curtis Sees. I'm Curtis, and I am seeing you through. And also, it's my courtesy to help you, because people always tell me to be courteous, Curtis. So I'm trying to do that, because I feel like when people tell you things like that, it's kind of like saying who you are and you don't even know it. So I'm trying to be courteous, I'm trying to be helpful, and I'm trying to see you through. So that's what's up, and I hope you'll follow us. I hope you'll work this path working and come back. I'm going to try to post a schedule for day 2 and a little bit in advance, and to actually uphold the time. I'm sorry for not being able to get to this one on time and doing it I don't know, almost 6 hours late because we were trying to figure out YouTube. But thank you guys so much, and I hope that this path working finds you well. And I'll probably do the next day 2 in about a week. So I hope it's powerful. I hope it's helpful. I hope we do the questions. And if you need any help from me, of course, you guys know where to find me on the website, magicalmenagerie.com. That's magical with a C-K-A-L. And I hope to see you there. And so, or you can find me on Patreon.com/courtesies, and that has a lot of links to our social media and stuff. If you message us on any of that, we'll find you and we'll get you directed to somewhere where we can have a discourse that we can keep track of. So, but love you guys. I hope you guys are excited to find positivity with me, and love and light.